Hey guys, what's going on? The Podfather here. Excuse the background noises during this recording. I have roommates, so sorry about that. But it's still a great listen. Brandon and I, we discuss a lot, we get a lot in. And yes, if you have not done so yet, actually I know you haven't because I'm the only one who's actually bought one. Pro Wrestling Tee/BulletCast. Get one of our shirts, man. Support the BC, man. Really do it. You know, we're trying to do bigger and better things in 2020. Buy a shirt. It's a great design. And Brightest Day X made it. You're gonna love it. Now let's get to the BC.
Bulletcast. For life. Get on! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise!
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I'm a 24-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone, and the greatest sports and recreational podcaster in the world today, the Podfather. And yes, I am the Le Champion of this show. It's good that I'm champion right now. Tomorrow is the 3-year anniversary of this show. I'm happy. I'm excited. I really, really am. This title reign is just like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole, baby. It's forever undisputed. For life, brother. But you know I never do it alone. I couldn't have made it 3 years without this guy. He's the host and creator of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, a former Bulletcast champion in his own right. He's the first ever Bulletcast champion. He's my day one, man. Tully to my Arn, Stevie Ray to my Booker T, Christian to my Edge. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon Tan Guma. BT, how you doing on this fine Thursday afternoon?
You know, Phillip, I'm doing just fine. That was a great introduction you just gave.
Man, I'm excited, man. Who would have thought we would be here 3 years later? You know? I didn't. Hell, I thought I wouldn't even make it to 100 episodes. Episode 157.
Yeah, remember when you said that you were going to retire at 100 and I'll take over? What happened to that?
Well, you know, who's going to lead the revolution, man? You know, who's gonna grab it by its horns and really take charge of it? I felt like I had to be that guy. Cody went off and started a revolution. I felt like I needed to start one too. It's just that's just how it is, man.
You had to be that guy?
I had to be that guy, you know. I needed to be a revolutionary. Especially, it's Black History Month. I feel the revolution even more. You know, Black Power rankings coming sometime this week. Gotta bring that back. You know, gotta celebrate my heritage. But we have professional wrestling to talk about. But before we get to that, Brandon, what's been your favorite moments in the 3 years that this show has been in existence?
I mean, it's so hard to choose from because, you know, there's been so many. But, you know, I always got to go back to Young Boy number 2. He is the highlight of this podcast. Very underutilized, underrated, almost as underrated as Sonya Deville. We need to bring him back.
I might have to. I saw Young Boy number 3 yesterday, Michael, who accompanied us to, was it Halloween Hell last year? Great guy. He should come on the show one day. We don't know. We'll see. I'll work on getting Young Boy number 2. You have a favorite interview we've done? Maybe?
I mean, they're just all great. It's so hard to pick one. But, you know, if I were to choose one, you know, I don't know. Kelly was just, you know, fantastic.
Kelly was great. Thank you for making that happen, Mike Miller. Alright, Smackdown, Braun Strowman finally wins gold. He becomes the new Intercontinental Champion, ending the 200-plus day reign of Shinsuke Nakamura. Honestly, Shinsuke hadn't defended it since, October. That new IC title is trash. And honestly, I don't care about Strowman being champion. I'm sorry, I don't. You know, maybe they should have pulled the trigger with him a few years ago, and then again, maybe he's like an Andre, where he really doesn't even need a championship. I mean, Andre the Giant, yesterday was the, I don't know how many ever year anniversary of Andre the Giant winning the WWE title, and he was champion for 45 seconds. So, you know, maybe big guys aren't meant to be champion. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
We've talked about it multiple times on this show. In the 3 years we've done it, you know, Braun Strowman being champion, being WWE or Universal Champion has come up multiple times, and I've always kind of said it's kind of hard to do anything with him as a champion because he's so big and he's a babyface, so it's hard to put sympathy on him. If he were to be a champion, I think it'd fit better as a heel for him to be conquered you have Brock Lesnar, who's basically doing the same thing. And as you kind of said, Shinsuke wasn't really doing anything as a champion. I like the IC title redesign. The title itself, I wouldn't have redesigned it. I think you should have kept the OG design so you have some sort of history and lineage, because with WWE and all the championships and titles that have changed up, there's really no lineage anymore, because all these titles have really been in existence. The current designs have been in existence for I don't know, the last 5 years, except for the US title. But the US title, I don't really have that much of emotion towards it, because that's a WCW title.
Love the United States Championship. A lot of greats have held that title. I think, right now is the U.S. title more prestigious than the Intercontinental Championship, Brandon?
I have liked what they've been doing with Andrade and the U.S. title, and I would say they are. I mean, Raw in general is a better show, so with U.S. title being on Raw and the IC title being on SmackDown, I think it's a foregone conclusion that the U.S. title is being treated a whole lot better than the IC title.
The U.S. title had, Harley Race, Flair, Sting, Big Match, John, the IC title. It's had a lot of greats too, but it's really a shame, Maybe Miz needs to get back into that title picture, and I'll care more, Speaking of the Miz, he and John Morrison, they won a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship opportunity match in Saudi Arabia. It will be the New Day versus Miz and Morrison. Will Miz and Morrison once again be tag team champions? And is it 2008? Because I think it is. You have MVP, Edge, Miz, and Morrison. Rey Mysterio? The hell's going on?
Well, if it's 2008, I guess I should just stop watching, because that's what happened in 2008.
2008 had a lot of good stuff, man. CM Punk won his first world title. Jeff Hardy finally became WWE champion. Shawn and Jericho started that amazing rivalry. We got that suit and tie Jericho. A lot of good stuff, man. You really missed out.
But I was a freshman in high school, and I was too cool to watch wrestling.
Oh no, when I was a freshman in high school, I was a closeted wrestling fan. I'm not gonna lie. That's exactly what happened. But thoughts on Miz and Morrison possibly becoming tag team champions again in Saudi Arabia?
It's really the only tag team feud that's going on SmackDown, so it would make sense for Miz and Morrison to win the number one contendership, since they've been feuding with the New Day ever since Morrison came back. Could they win? Possibly. It's Saudi Arabia. You never know what they want to do over there. If they want to give them a couple title changes every now and then, you can give them the title win here, and then you can go back to it at WrestleMania or whatever the hell shows in between now and WrestleMania. If there is one, I don't even know.
It's the Blood Money in the Sand 5, and then I think there's going to be an elimination chamber. Then after that, it's really fast on the road to WrestleMania. So it's an exciting time. It really is, There are potential great things that could happen at this Blood Money in the Sand 5 that we will get to. But that's all I want to talk about from SmackDown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are distraught about the 49ers losing and letting the Chiefs take it home, shout out Chiefs. My boy BC, Baron Corbin, used to play for the Chiefs. Excuse me, Jesus. So, much respect to him. Congratulations to those guys. They worked hard. They played hard. First football game I've ever watched in its entirety. My point is, if you're distraught about that, the XFL is starting back up this weekend. We have the Seattle Dragons at the DC Defenders. We have the Los Angeles Wildcats at the Houston Roughnecks, and it's gonna. Oh, we also have the Tampa Bay Vipers, the New York Guardians, St. Louis Battlehawks, and Dallas Renegades all playing, this weekend. So it's gonna be a very exciting time, Brandon.
Oh yeah, I'm excited, and I just can't hide it. And you didn't do it any justice, Phillip. It's not the XFL; it's the XFL. You got to do it in Vince McMahon.
Whoa! I didn't think you. That's a pretty decent Vince, man. Look at you.
I've been doing that for the past 6 months, so I've been working on my XFL Vince impersonation.
I've been Vincing it up at my Casa lately, but that was pretty good, man. I don't think I can top it, Brandon. I don't.
You can't. But anyways, the XFL, we've seen a spring league pop up last year with the AAF. The American Alliance Football. I don't know what the hell it was called, but it was all right. But the XFL, it still has the stigma from 20 years ago. There's very little commercials that I've seen on the XFL, and it's oh, you like football? This is football. Come watch football with us, which I don't really understand why people would want to do that on the commercial sense, but the rules and regulations that are implemented into the XFL are interesting. And 20 years ago, the XFL, there were some things that were implemented into the NFL once the XFL fell apart. So it will be interesting to see what the XFL does. A lot of money is put into it, and maybe this whole XFL venture might be the reason why some certain people might have left WWE's corporate realm. Philip, maybe, I don't know, possibly.
Possibly, man. I'm looking at this. Brandon Silvers is the QB for the Seattle Dragons. Oh man, what's your team, man? New York Guardians. That sounds nice. Maybe the Tampa Bay Vipers. I don't know, or the Dallas Renegades. I'm a renegade, you know. Oh, this is very very exciting, Brandon. The Renegades QB used to play at Ole Miss. That's exciting. Brandon, what's your team, bro?
Is it exciting?
It is. It's the XFL. It's exciting. This is real football. I'm excited. Never been this happy for football in my life. You know, this could be my transition into real sports, Brandon.
We'll talk in about 2 weeks and see where you are.
Okay. We will.
But if you're going to watch any XFL game, you got to watch the one on ABC because your boy Pat McAfee is going to be there and he's going to kill it. Because Pat McAfee always kills it.
Pat McAfee is a gem. I didn't know how much we needed him on WWE TV. Love that guy, I really do. The WWE stock has gone down now. It's drastically gone down. It was about this was a few months ago. It was about like a little over $100 a share, or like $120 a share, something like that. I checked the other day and it was at like $43 a share. That's drastically low. That's a big dip, Brandon. You know, I might have to buy some. Let me see. What's the stock at right now as we record this podcast? I might have to buy some WWE stock. I might have to become part shareholder of World Wrestling Entertainment, Brandon. Thoughts on WWE stock taking a big dive?
Philip, do you know why WWE stock is taking a big dive?
I try to stay away from the dirt sheets. Tell me.
Well, it was pretty big news last week. I'm surprised you haven't heard about this. Michelle Wilson and George Barrios have left the company. We don't exactly know what the hell went down. It doesn't seem like it was amicable. It didn't seem like it was a pretty breakup, but it's a breakup nonetheless. And the Q4 financial reports have come out today. I haven't really looked into it. I don't know what Vince said because George Barrios was usually the one that always took these calls and led the charge, and Vince would kind of just sit there in the back saying really nothing. But this is literally, I think people don't understand how big of a story this really is, because these people were in the corporate side of WWE for 10 years, and yes, it might not affect the on-screen product, but this is a really big deal.
This is a really big deal, man. Oh man, it's gone down a couple more dollars. Right now, it is at $44.74. Netflix is at $3.65. Jesus. If you want to cash out for Netflix, go ahead. Okay, I did see something about that. I didn't click on the article to read it. I'm sure you can enlighten all of us about it. But yeah, man, I've never really been into the corporate side of WWE. I mean, as corporate as I've gotten is when we talk about their deals with Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. Those people left. They were big in the corporate world, as you just said. They were with the company for a decade. And let's see, maybe it can be restored. I
think this is just another piece of evidence that shows that WWE would be much better if Vince McMahon did not have complete control of the company.
I'm still not one of those guys. As much as I preach about the revolution in AEW and all that stuff, I'm still not one of those guys. Vince McMahon, he got to where he is by not being an idiot. People think, oh, he's old and senile. Not Vince. Vince is still brilliant in his ways. We've seen it, and he'll bounce back from this like he has everything else. This is a guy that bought out his competition. This is a guy that survived the steroids trial. The only battle he's really lost is what the WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation name. That's it. Vince is. As much L's as Vince could have taken, he hasn't taken a lot. He's taken one, Yeah.
Philip, all those W's were 20 years ago.
Hey, man. Sometimes W's from 10, 20, 15 years ago they last a lifetime, you know? They last a lifetime. My point is, Vince McMahon did not get to where he is by being stupid. He's a businessman. This guy mortgaged his house to make WrestleMania 1 happen. He's not an idiot. He's a risky son of a bitch, but he's not an idiot. That's my take on VKM.
I'm not saying he's an idiot. I'm just saying he might be a little past his prime.
Hey man, I'm past my prime. I'm 24 and I'm past my prime. Vince is 74 and he's just hitting the prime. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I went there. I said that. We're gonna move on. Timothy Thatcher and Killer Kross joined the Performance Center. Killer Kross made a name for himself in AAA down in Mexico, and of course Impact when he was being the dark, scary character. Obviously, his girlfriend or fiance, Scarlett Bordeaux, the Smoke Show, signed to the Performance Center a few months back. Got to see them at the StarCast event in Vegas for Double or Nothing weekend. Awesome. So great for Killer Kross. I've been waiting to see where this guy's going to go because he looks like a star. But Timothy Thatcher, this is a guy I've been watching for years now. My first ever APW show back at the old garage, like 2012. He was the Universal Champion at the time. And I was watching him wrestle Dylan Drake and Drake Younger and all these other guys in the garage. And then we just recently saw him in Jake Atlas's last APW match. They both wrestled for the title, and WWE swooped both of them up. That's awesome. I can't wait to see what Timothy Thatcher's going to do. The British Messiah is going to run roughshod over NXT. And do you think that he will join Imperium, Walter's faction? Because remember, they were a faction on the Indies with the... what's the guy's name? Marcel... Can't think of his name. But the point is, he and Walter have history. I would love to see him join Imperium, and they just become a real dominant faction on NXT UK.
Well, Philip, me and Timothy Thatcher, we're almost like best friends, because, I've seen him at the gym over at Crunch in St. Lorenzo like 2 times, so, we're practically best friends, and so I knew that this was coming before the news broke, and I would say Timothy Thatcher would be a great fit in NXT UK. I don't exactly know if he's going to be one of those wrestlers where he's going to be kind of the full-time wrestler, if he's going to be more of like a player coach. But as you said, he does have the link with Walter. He could join Imperium. He could be a foil for Imperium. I don't know exactly. I haven't heard him talk all that much, so I don't know what his character is like, but I know he's great in the ring. And Killer Kross, as you said, he's young, he has a great look. Who knows if he's going to be on NXT and if him and Scarlett are going to be linked together on screen as a couple, as a valet and a wrestler, who knows. But I do like Killer Kross's upside. I think especially in NXT where there's a lot of smaller dudes and he can stand out and he can be a monster.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, the matches that he could have with Donovan Dijakovic. Yeah, finally got his name right. There we go. I think that matchup would be nice. That's size up. And even him and Punishment Martinez, Damian Priest, that size up would be nice. Him and Keith Lee, Adam Cole looking scared as ish because, Killer Kross is a humongous human being. I think a lot of that stuff is going to really work out well. Can't wait to see his debut. I'm going to really have to start watching NXT, man. It's getting really good. I see the highlights. I see the Twitter feeds, the Instagram posts. Wednesday nights may really just have to be for me. Brandon, we may have to trade off. I may have to cover NXT now. Just saying.
No, I know I've slipped in. I haven't done Under the Radar this week, but I have watched all the NXTs for like the past year. And it has, NXT has consistently been my favorite weekly show to watch.
There you go, man. Last up on Outside of the Ring, Carver Mars Bennett. Yes, we found out the baby actually was Mike Bennett's. He and Maria just welcomed their second child a few days ago. Frederica, she has a little brother to play with. Congratulations to Mike and Maria, and can't wait to see Mike in the ring again very soon.
Congratulations to them. I don't know if Mike and Maria are going to ever come back. There was rumors and innuendos that they were leaving, or Mike wanted to leave. I don't know what's going on. I can't believe anything on the internet.
You can't believe anything on the internet. You really can't. Inside of the ring, the pure title is back. This was a title that was in Ring of Honor back in the day. You know, it was the Ring of Honor has the code of honor where they shake hands before the match. That's basically what this title represented. AJ Styles, yeah, he never held the Ring of Honor heavyweight title, but he did hold this. And Marty Scurll announced it is coming back since Marty's he's head honcho over there. I'm excited, man. You know, I wasn't watching Ring of Honor during the pure title days. I'm excited to just kind of learn the history of the championship. And Brandon, what are your thoughts?
ROH's pure title, definitely a throwback back into the early 2000s. I'm a little bit familiar with the different rules and regulations that they have on the match, and I think this is something that I think a lot of companies should do if you're going to have a world title. I think if you're going to have a secondary championship, you should distinguish it and make it completely different than the world title, because then it just kind of makes it seem less than. I know New Japan has done well of kind of having the IC and world title be kind of equal, but when it comes to, you know, other promotions, I think you should have like either it be a weight limit, but maybe now in this day and age you can't have a weight limit, but you have like special rules, like the NWA is introducing, I think, rules of the television title or whatever, that if you defend it 7 times, then you can get an automatic bid at the NWA title.
If you successfully defend it 7 times?
That's what I heard on the internet.
Wow, hey. You know, I do like certain stipulations with titles. Like back in the day, the TV title in NWA is defended every single week on TV. I like that. You know, I like stuff like that. And then weight limits with championships, you can do that. I mean, if you were to have like not a cruiserweight title, but like a light heavyweight championship where your max cutoff is like say 220 or something, I think that'd be interesting. But I'm excited for the Ring of Honor Pure title. It's going to be very interesting. You know, they have the television title and they have like the 6-man tag and regular tag titles. So they have a plethora of championships. As long as they're used correctly and done right, everything will be okay. Tomorrow night, Smackdown comes to San Jose. Friday night Smackdown on Fox. You can see King Corbin, Braun Strowman, Shinsuke Nakamura, the Big Dog, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Corbin's Court, all that stuff. Brandon and I are going to be live and in attendance. Brandon, we're going to be on Fox tomorrow night. Are you excited?
Excited, and I just can't hide it. And don't forget, Big Bill is coming back. Goldberg will be in town because he's going to wrestle somebody at Blood Money 5.
There you go. Wait, is he really? What?
Yes, Philip, because, you know, I watch the product and I watch the commercials.
Goldberg's going to be in San Jose tomorrow?
That's what I said.
What? I get to see Goldberg live? I get to do the whole little kick and stomp thing? Oh, that's going to be amazing. I'm excited. And then the day after, they do have a house show. I think it's a combination Raw and SmackDown, because that's what's being promoted at the Oakland Arena. I might have to make my way over to go see that. You don't know. You never know. But SmackDown, Friday night SmackDown, Fox. It should be a good show. WWE Live is always nice. Brandon and I were at that Raw at the Chase Center. Probably the best Raw I've ever been to. Would you say the same, Brandon?
No, Philip, because I've been to a Raw after WrestleMania.
Oh, you were there when Brock was effing people up.
But I will say I'm very excited for this Friday night SmackDown, only because I want to see Baron Corbin come out in his Chiefs jersey and just absolutely troll the hell out of that San Francisco 49er crowd.
I'm excited for it too, man. You know, maybe you, Corbin, and I can go hang out after. I don't know. I'll have to hit him up and see. All right. Also, Enzo Amore, the Certified G, is stepping back into the ring for QPW Super Slam February 21st, 2020, and he's going up against the man with the amazing mullet, Brian Pillman Jr. Enzo stepping back in the ring, man. What are your thoughts?
I have no thoughts. I wasn't going to watch this show before, and I'm definitely not going to watch it now.
Dude, Enzo's great, man. Why do you keep hating on Enzo Amore? I love Enzo. Did you watch the Chris Van Vliet interview? I don't think you did, bro. Enzo's my guy. I understand him. I get him. You know what?
And what do you know? We got a couple haters.
Brandon,
why are you a hater of Enzo Amore?
I'm not a hater. I'm just, I'm not a fan. I'm not talking down to him. I'm just gonna ignore it.
Okay. I understand. It's okay, man. You do you. You do you. Another wrestling show that is coming up is March 29th, 2020. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Kobe Obviously, this is honoring the NBA great Kobe Bryant, who unfortunately passed away in that helicopter crash, along with his daughter Gianna and others. It's still just unreal to think that all those people unfortunately died in that tragic way. But they're honoring an LA King, and it's a really nice move by Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I mean, they always have a history of having cool, different names. I know they had like Lemmy one year. They've had like other names after famous people who have died. So, especially with them having roots in LA, it was no shock they had a show named after Kobe.
Yeah, I mean that's exciting. If it's on the Fight Network, I will actually have to watch that live. I'm excited. All right, we were there last year. It's still the best wrestling show I've ever been to. They announced it yesterday. AEW Double or Nothing Part 2. It is taking place Memorial Day weekend once again, May 23rd, 2020. Brandon, are we going back, bruh? Are we going back?
Well, I gotta take a look at my bank account because the way my bank's set up, it takes a couple days to go from my check-ins to my savings and everything. But maybe I'll make it work. Maybe I'll not go as hard as I did last year. But maybe no. Maybe hit a couple Groupons. Maybe do a little something on the side, get some extra cash. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, we're on the media list now. We could be saving some dough with that.
I mean, if that means free tickets, then I'm all for it. But
I'll have to see. I'll get all the logistics. We have time. We have a whole lot of time for that. But ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't out there last year, you need to go. It was an amazing feeling just being a part of something so historic, and like I'm at a really big wrestling show that's not WWE. This is awesome. It was amazing. Cody and Dustin, they've made my top 10 list for matches of all time. They did. It was an amazing spectacle. I loved everything about it. Starcast was cool. Meeting some of my favorites of all time. It's awesome. Do the whole thing. Go to Starcast. Do the meet and greets. The live podcast. All that stuff. And it's Vegas. You'll never be bored. And then of course, Double or Nothing. They're gonna steal the show again, like they've been doing. It's phenomenal. I'm excited. All right, we are gonna move on to this day in wrestling. Harley Race wins the NWA title on this day in 1977. He wins it back from Terry Funk. This happened in Canada, my hometown, the Six, bruh, in Toronto. Shout out Drizzy. Shout out to the Six. A lot of history happens there, man. Any thoughts on old Harley?
good for Harley, one of the greatest NWA champs of all time.
Yes, 8 times, just like your boy, 8-time Bullet Cash champ. All right, this is an unrecognized reign, but it did happen. Ted DiBiase was WWE champion on this day in 1988. He held it for about 3 days. I thought he was one of the greats that never won a world title. I thought he was like a Scott Hall or a Mr. Perfect or even a Roddy Piper. But this is a reign that didn't happen. It was probably like a house show loop. They put it on him for a couple days and then he dropped it once they got back to TV. So, Ted DiBiase. We can officially say he was a world champion.
Yes, he was a world champion. Ted DiBiase, the first wrestler I met WrestleMania weekend at WrestleCade or WrestleCast, whatever the hell it's called. I forget. WrestleCon. There we go.
Did he do the laugh?
He did not do the laugh because I think it was a little early in the morning for that.
Alright, there was a Smackdown on this day in 2007. The Animal, Dave Bautista, retained the World Heavyweight title, the Big Gold, against Mr. Kennedy. We have a Raw on this day in 2012. Chris Jericho wins a 6-pack challenge for what I do not know. Some of the guys that were in that match were like R-Truth, CM Punk as WWE Champion, and my boy Dolph Ziggler. Also, there was a Raw on this day in 2017 where Samoa Joe beat another Samoan named Joe in Roman Reigns. Yeah, man. Any thoughts on these Raws? Years apart on the same day? It's exciting. It's riveting. I like it. I like all of that. All of it. No? Nothing?
These are Raws that happened on this day.
On this, I see clearly, Alright, we're going to move into the fan mail. Hootie hoo! 420.
Hootie hoo.
There we go. Cody's commitment to his stories is top notch. Is there a better storyteller in wrestling right now? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Jericho's character work is phenomenal, like we keep saying, doing some of the best work of his career. In WWE, I mean, who's really telling stories like this? On a consistent basis. Where they're just good. They just keep hitting.
I would say that Cody is probably I don't know if I'd say best storyteller, but on consistently in all of his matches, all of his big matches, dating back to, I mean, even like when he faced Kenny in ROH a few years ago, like all of Cody's big matches, it seems as though he gets the crowd behind him, and there's a big emotional support for him, and that's just something that we don't really see in WWE all that much. I mean, Daniel Bryan, I think, is kind of the only one that comes to mind, just because he's such a great babyface. But in WWE, sometimes you are kind of hamstrung in the stories you can tell, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to see any 10 lashings on WWE anytime soon.
We are not. That's actually the name of this episode. Thank you. I need something to name it. Jack of all trades. Those lashings on AEW, they were old school, and I loved every single minute of it. Hey, man, you toot your own. You do you. Make your money, boo-boo. Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to, let's see, just more fan mail. Let's see, who do we got? In Brightest Day X on Instagram, graphic designer for the BC. Who was the best wrestler reboot, PCO, Broken Matt Hardy, or Bray Wyatt the Fiend? Oh, man, I mean, PCO, like, he was a Quebecer in the 90s and then came back out of obscurity like 15, 17 years later. And, has this renaissance of a career. He's the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Champion. Broken Matt Hardy, he was just, that's Matt Hardy. He was a part of the Hardys back in the 90s and early 2000s. He's the big brother to the cool guy, Jeff Hardy. And then he became broken, and it worked. It worked tremendously. It's the only reason why you needed to watch Impact back in those days. And then The Fiend, another guy who was kind of put off in obscurity. He was a cult leader and didn't really do much because he never won, and now look at him. He's the champion of the universe. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Out of those three, I think I would probably pick PCO just because it just came out of nowhere. I was on the show last year talking about his match with Walter and just talking about how crazy it was, or not even, was it? No, it was 2 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago, and it was just like, who the hell is this PCO guy? And I find out he was in WWF in the 90s, and he's doing these crazy stuff, and he's doing Frankenstein vignettes on YouTube, and I think his is probably the most miraculous turnaround just because who would have thought you would have your biggest career, like in your 50s, being a hardcore not death match, but you know what I'm saying, just completely different of what you were doing almost 30 years ago.
Yes, wonderful. Alright, what else do we have? He also says, how happy are we that the Nightmare Collective is dead? Is it dead? Is it no more?
I mean, that's what it seems like. They had this big old angle on AEW Dark on Tuesday. Don't acknowledge it whatsoever on AEW on Wednesday. Brandy comes out, just regular old Brandy. Doesn't really look crazy and Nightmare Collective-ish. So, maybe, but I'm okay with it because the Dark Order is okay. The Inner Circle is, the top heel faction. So I don't think, as you would say, Phillip, too many cults in wrestling.
Brandon, did they listen to me? Did they hear me? I pray to God they did. I didn't need to see that. I didn't need any more of it. I really didn't. Brandy is gorgeous. She is beautiful. She needs to just be Brandy. And we're going to talk about Brandy when we get to AEW. Moving on from that, simply _C_OK. We see her at APW a lot. She's a part of the No DQ crew. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, my roommate's tweaking over here. So let's move on and hit this question. With the recent WWE signees of Timothy Thatcher, Killer Kross, and Aja Smith, do you think the independent wrestling scene is thinning, or just pure exaggeration from indie wrestling fans knowing the fact that some of the well-known talents are getting signed by not just WWE but other companies with limited indie bookings? AEW, Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor, NWA, and MLW. Your thoughts? I don't think the independent scene is thinning. It's kind of like NXT. When core stars left, like when Neville went up, and then you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the Four Horsewomen. You're like, oh my God, NXT's not going to be the same. And then they just keep bringing in people. Like McIntyre would come in, Rude, Nakamura, Keith Lee, Adam Cole, Undisputed, all this stuff. See what I'm saying? It would just keep refreshing itself, and that's what the California, not just California independent scene, but the indie scene in general is going to do. It's going to keep refreshing itself. That's how Jake Atlas really got a rise. A lot of guys went to other places. He climbed the ranks. Chris Bay, I think he's going to take the top African American independent wrestler spot. Kind of what Shane Strickland was doing when he was on the Indies wrestling in Defy. So I think the Indies are going to be absolutely fine. And plus, a lot of these companies do have deals where guys can still wrestle indie matches but they just can't be like big televised or broadcast stuff. So I think the indies are going to be absolutely okay.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. There's just a constant flow of talent. As soon as one person goes out, some other person comes in, and sometimes there are kind of ebbs and flows, and the indie circuit might not have been as hot as it was a few years ago, but then all of a sudden it kind of comes up and it gets a little bit better. So with WWE, there was rumors that they were just going to have PCs all over the world, and that would really just dry up. I mean, we have seen it take a lot of talent from the United Kingdom, but we have seen them to start to replenish, and they've started to come up, and hopefully NXT Japan never really comes to fruition, because I think Japan is fantastic and all the stuff they do over there. So, I mean, there's just so much talent that we don't even know about, and once a bigger star comes up, they get the push and they get a little bit of a rise. Just as you said, there's Jake Atlas and there's other people that you might not think about right now, but 2 years from now, they're the ones getting scouted for WWE.
Yeah, Japan, maybe Vince should just buy them too, All Japan, Stardom, New Japan, maybe he should just buy all that, I'd love it. I'd love everything about it. Just a big stamp on the Japanese wrestling scene, The IWGP title, just put a big WWE logo over it. Oh my god, that'd be great. Love it. Yeah. No? Are you not a fan of that? No? Hello?
Phillip.
What?
This weekend, maybe the greatest match of all time is going to take place as Jon Moxley takes on Minoru Suzuki, and they are going to just absolutely batter the hell out of each other, and it is going to be amazing.
Did you just say possibly the greatest match of all time?
It is possibly going to be the greatest match of all time, yes.
I like how you keep trying to argue with me greatest match of all time. We already know what it is. I won't take anything else. You know what I'm going to say.
Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki in that tag match from last week?
No! April 5th, 2009. Taker, Michaels, Houston, Texas, WrestleMania 25. Two guys in their early to mid-40s. Nothing left to prove in this business, in this industry. They've done it all. They went to the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the Immortals, and knocked it out of the effing park. It was amazing. It was breathtaking. I almost had a damn heart attack. At 13, I got my first wrestling high. That is, and forever will be, not just the greatest WWE match of all time, not just the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, but that is the greatest professional wrestling match I have ever seen. I've seen Savage and Steamboat. I've seen Cody and Dustin. Hell, I've seen Benoit and Angle Royal Rumble 2003. I've seen Lesnar and Guerrero 2004 No Mercy. I've seen it all. But that takes the cake. It was hell trying to get to heaven. And hell overcame that night. And it was amazing.
You feel better now?
Hey man, that was probably the best take I've ever had on this show. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was good. We are going to move on to the Raw recap. King Ricochet defeats the Messiah of Monday Night, Seth Rollins, and Lashley to become the #1 contender for the Beast Incarnate for the title of record inside Saudi Arabia. Is this Riyadh? Do we know? We'll say it's Riyadh. Blood Money in the Sand 5. Ricochet, Brock Lesnar, WWE title. Brock attacks Ricochet after. This is going to be good. It is. Brock works well with small boys. Whoa, pause. Didn't mean to say that.
It was kind of a foregone conclusion that they were going to have Ricochet win this match because they had the little thing built in from a few weeks ago. They didn't even really talk about how Ricochet kicked Brock in the nuts before Drew McIntyre kicked him out of the ring, but they went to that a little bit this week, and they've cut some good promos. It's a good match, and as you said, Brock has had some good matches with smaller guys like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Finn Balor. The list goes on and on. So I'm excited to see the match. Obviously, there's no chance in hell Ricochet wins, but it should be fun. I'm glad to see Ricochet in this spotlight, but unfortunately, it is going to be at Blood Money 5.
So are we just never going to get Lashley and Brock? Like, what the hell, man?
I did think for a little bit that maybe they were going to give it to Lashley because you can have just a big old house fight, but I think they want to firmly establish Brock as a heel, and I think if you put him up against Lashley, people are more likely to cheer Brock unless they just go completely in Brock being a heel, but then I don't know what they're doing with Lashley, and I don't know what they're doing with Rusev and Lashley and Lana and Liv, and we're going to get to all that, I guess.
No, they could have done Lashley. You know, it's Black History Month. You just cheer all African Americans during this month, heel or not, whatever the hell. I mean, you should cheer them year round, but you know, it's especially important during February. That's all I'm saying. You know, yeah.
So cheer Ricochet.
Of course, cheer Ricochet. He does crazy things. He does exciting things. I like it.
But he's Irish.
But he's
O'Shea.
Oh wow. Oh Trevor. AOP and Buddy Murphy defeats Kevin Owens in the Viking War Raider Experience. It was good. Buddy Murphy's winning matches. He's a champion. All is right in the world, Brandon. All is right.
I mean, it was fine. You got one of the Viking War Raider Experience guys getting kicked out because of an injury, and Kevin Owens having to fight from behind, and he just wasn't able to get the job done. So protects AOP and Buddy Murphy. So I understand what they're doing. Continuing on with the story, I assume we're going to get like some sort of 8-man tag at Blood Money 5 with everybody, and hopefully Samoa Joe gets healthy by then, and they can have that barn burner of a match in front of 50,000 people that don't know what's going on.
Absolutely. They know what's going on, Brandon. Wrestling is universal. That's why they have a universal title in WWE. It all makes sense.
They're just going to wait for the Goldberg Sting match.
Dude, hey, yo. What? Yo, I don't think I need to see that. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I mean, if this was 1997, I'm all for it, bro. But I don't need to see that, you know?
We didn't need to see Goldberg Undertaker, but we saw it.
Yeah, we did. You met Sting, right? You did that, right? You did that one?
Yes, I did do that one.
How was Sting? Was he good? He was a nice guy?
He was fine. He seemed a little cranky. It was a little early in the morning, so he had to probably wake up really early to put the face paint on. Face paint?
Oh, face paint on. Yeah. It's okay, you know. I don't know. Maybe Goldberg will win Worst Moment of the Year when we do the End of the Year awards. You never know. Because I don't need to see him wrestle in Saudi Arabia ever again. Alright, Rhea Ripley throws down the WrestleMania Challenge. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, she won the Women's Rumble. She hasn't decided yet. She's done everything you can to do on Raw and SmackDown, 10-time champ. But then Rhea Ripley shows up. Oh, man. I'm telling you, man. That's exciting. That is really exciting. The rumor is that Becky and Shayna will actually happen, and then Bayley and Sasha will happen. So 3 different women's title matches at the granddaddy of them all? That's good-ish, man. That is good-ish. And I like to think that I started this whole Rhea Ripley thing on our Royal Rumble recap.
Yes, Philip, it's all to your credit. I liked it. I mean, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, it makes a lot of sense. Rhea got the big push at Survivor Series. Then Charlotte goes over to NXT, because, you know, I watch NXT. So they had a little confrontation there. Rhea and Bianca Belair kind of teamed up to attack Charlotte. I wasn't a big fan of that, especially since they have their match coming up next weekend at Portland. So it's going to be kind of hard to really get into the match because they're just buddy-buddy a week ago. But they're trying to build up doubt that maybe Bianca Belair will be the one. Charlotte still hasn't technically accepted, but I mean, it's kind of a foregone conclusion at this point.
Portland's next weekend?
Yes, sir.
Oh, gee, that's gonna be good. Wait, are we doing a recap of that, bro?
Bro?
I mean,
I was talking to Matt Riddle.
Don't ever say that to me again. I don't think I've ever been on one of your NXT TakeOver recaps, man. I'd love to. I would love to do that.
Wow, you're just stepping on all my gimmicks, Philip.
I mean, I've been on Under the Radar one time out of like your 60 episodes, or 75, or whatever it is. You know, I can't come on one NXT recap of a takeover. They have Gargano and Finn Balor going out there, man. That's what I'm looking forward to.
You can do whatever you want, Philip.
We'll discuss after we record this. All right, what else happened on Monday Night Raw? The Chosen One, Drew McIntyre, defeats Mojo Rawley. 1, 2, 3 Claymore kick. The move's getting over. How badass would it be if Drew McIntyre comes out to Broken Dreams at WrestleMania? I'd pop huge for it. That was a great theme song.
Pretty sure he's not going to do that, but I did like that Drew, as a babyface, said he was going to do something. He did deliver. Kind of buries the 24/7 title even more. I thought they were going to do something with Mojo, but he just comes out and loses in like 4 seconds to Drew McIntyre. So there you go. It is what it is. I don't know. I'm not completely sold on what to do with Drew McIntyre just because he is kind of like sing-songy, trying to cheer, kind of get the crowd cheering behind him, which it works. I mean, the crowd is getting behind him, but I kind of wish he has a little bit more of that edge and the more badass Scottish Terminator.
You know what? I think what needs to happen. Remember when Brock just beat the hell out of Seth, like F5'd him on the stretcher and all that? Brock just needs to beat the hell out of Drew, and then Drew just needs to come back and cut this fire promo. Like, no wishy-washy, lovable babyface, just badass. You can still be a babyface and be badass. Steve Austin, badass. The Rock was badass. Triple H, badass. You can still be a badass and be a good guy. It's possible. We don't need lovable babyfaces all the time. We don't.
I think this is just something he's doing for now, but once he moves into the feud with Brock Lesnar officially, I think he will kind of cut back on that and he will be more straightforward and more mean.
Yeah, because I don't think he's going to count 3, 2, 1 and then kick Brock Lesnar in the face. Or what if he does that in the match and that's what costs him and he loses? Could you imagine that?
That would just be fantastic because everybody loves a dumb babyface.
Hey, man. Yeah, I love him. I love him all the time. The Viper, Randall Keith Orton. So, he comes out to cut a promo, kicks off Monday Night Raw. He's just getting booed by the people, and he just says he can't do this, and just walks away after his heinous attack on the rated R superstar Edge.
That's it.
That's it, man. That's all I got.
Well, very similar, I would say, to the Cody Rhodes angle at the end of Dynamite. It was like 15 minutes of not a whole lot of stuff going on, but they were just milking the moment. And Orton, I actually really enjoyed. Once again, I'm putting Randy Orton over 2 weeks in a row, Philip. I will call a spade a spade. And if something is good, I will say it's good. And I really enjoyed this. I thought it was good. The crowd was booing him. Shout out Salt Lake City. They had a blizzard snowstorm that I could never fathom living in because I live out here in the beautiful Bay Area. So they made a lot of noise throughout that entire show. Shout out Salt Lake City. Something I wouldn't really think of being a hot crowd, but they were booing him, and Randy was just kind of playing with his emotions. And he says he couldn't do it. But obviously, we're gonna get some sort of explanation later on down the line with 2 months from here to WrestleMania. They gotta fill some time, and I'm glad to see that Edge, at least for now, is selling the hell out of this injury.
Yeah, man. Shout out Salt Lake City, man. My roommate right here. He's from Salt Lake. He's giving a thumbs up right now. He keeps telling me Salt Lake is lit. Salt Lake is lit AF. Yeah, but the Salt Lake crowd, they really did do a good job booing Randy, and Randy is just great at all those little things, man. He really is. Like, that's why he's one of the most prolific performers of all time. Just all time, man. Little subtle facial expressions, little subtle mannerisms are what make Randy Orton a living legend.
Do you think he can keep the streak going and make me put him over 3 weeks in a row?
I think he can. Randy's that damn good. I mean, he's been doing this for a while, He's been doing this for, what, longer than he's been alive? More than he's been alive? Something like that. For the majority of his life. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I think he will put over Randy Orton next week. I do.
He'll probably have like a boring 12-minute match, and I'll fall asleep, and I'll say that he is trash.
Dude, nothing Randy does is boring. Nothing. Everything is meticulous for a reason. All right? You have to understand the artistry of wrestling to really get Randy Orton's matches. I love Randy Orton's matches. Now, Dragon Lee...
So you're telling me I'm too stupid to enjoy Randy Orton matches?
Brandon, I'm not going to call you stupid. You're my brother. I love you. I love you, man. I would never do that to you. I'm just saying, you need to really just take a step back and enjoy what Randy's doing out there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Now, that Dragon...
You want to get a good night's sleep, you put on a Randy Orton match right before you go to bed.
How are you going to put him over and then just... You want a good night's sleep? That Dragon Lee match I saw at the Cow Palace, I fell asleep during that. I'm not going to lie to you. I was unconscious. That's what I was doing. Yeah. I was just there for Cody. Didn't give a damn about anybody else. Just wanted to see Cody Rhodes, and he lost, and that pissed me off. New Japan is terrible. Vince, buy them out. We are going to move on. We're going to move on to Rey Mysterio defeating Angel Garza. Before that, it's via DQ, by the way. Before that, Humberto comes out there and... they replay him getting rid of a big recovering Andrade Almas. He's still the U.S. champion. I didn't know Garza and Humberto were cousins. That's interesting. Anyway, we get Garza versus Mysterio for a little bit. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't know that Angel Garza was cousins with Humberto Carrillo, because that was basically not his entire gimmick in NXT, but. I liked it. I thought keeping Zelina out there and having Garza come out, and it makes sense. It's not just some random Mexican that she brings out and she's like, oh, now I have this guy to beat you up. It's a family member. It makes sense. I really enjoy Garza. They kind of skirted around the fact that he was a cruiserweight champion, probably because they think that's going to devalue his name or devalue his credibility. But I think Garza has great upside as a heel, and who knows how long if he's going to stay. If he's going to stay the remainder of the month or past that, and they have a nice little faction or group with Zelina, Garza, and Andrade.
You never know, man. You never really know. That'd be nice. Garza, very slightly, he does give me Eddie vibes. Slightly, very slightly. It's like WCW Eddie, like the just I don't give a damn heel, but with like a little bit more charisma. Yeah. Yeah, that's what
I'm feeling like Latino Heat, Eddie.
Oh, really? Really? Go listen to the Jericho podcast that was released, was it like last week? Yeah, he had Chavo on, Shawl, Eddie's daughter, and Vicky. It was a gathering of the Guerreros, and they were just telling Eddie stories, and it was fun. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you get a little emotional, get a little creeped out. But it was good. It was just wholesome. It was good fun, and yeah, R.I.P. Eddie. Thank you for everything. Latino Heat forever. As we are going to move on to Live, Love, Laugh. She defeats Lana. Ruby Riott comes back. Hey, there you go, man. You talked about her. Winning the Rumble. She came back. You're responsible for that. And she attacked poor Liv Morgan.
Well, if only Ruby came back for the Rumble and won the thing, I would be sitting here as still the Bullet Cast champion. But I digress. Liv, once again, beats Lana. So I guess that feud is over. Now they're moving towards Liv and Ruby. I still don't understand what the whole point of this Lana, Lashley, Rusev, Liv stuff was, because it just kind of happened and then it just fizzled out and really didn't get a nice payoff. But Ruby coming back, I think it's a good feud going forward. I would put Ruby over if Becky comes out of WrestleMania as champ. I think Ruby, or even just beforehand, I think you keep Ruby strong until after WrestleMania as a heel, and she can go after Becky Lynch if she is still the champion.
Dude, I'm really just... am I ever going to get Ronda and Becky, dude? Like, look, Ronda Rousey returns night after WrestleMania. Mark it down, episode 157, 54 minutes, 20 seconds. That is where I said this. Hopefully I am right. Mark it. Mark it down. Mark it now. Right now. Yes. Do that. Do all that. I honestly don't want to even see Ruby Riott in the title picture. I really don't even care.
I think Ruby Riott is a great talent. I think especially with the depth or lack thereof in the women's division on Raw. I mean, who else could you see being a top heel going up against Becky Lynch? Asuka, been there, done that.
Yeah, I don't know why they're still doing that. You know who could have been a really nice top heel? Could have been champion?
Who?
Eva Marie. I feel like she was getting somewhere. You know, she was feuding with Becky. You know, she was having wardrobe malfunctions. Put Nia Jax with her. That's her heavy, and she could just be a chicken-ish heel with the title. Hold it hostage. She would have got legit heat. It would have been great. I would have loved everything about it. But alas, that didn't happen. Maybe we can get that with Mandy Rose. Stop this little play thing, whatever she's doing with Otis. Put the title on her.
Hey, don't make fun of my boy Otis. That's the best thing going on SmackDown. Okay.
I'll have to see it live tomorrow to really grasp it. But yeah, man, it's something. I don't know about Ruby Riott. I'm just not a fan. Lastly, Asuka defeats Natalya. Love Natalya, by the way. She seems like a great person. Was she nice when you met her?
Fantastic.
There you go. That's all I can ask for. So, what are your thoughts on Asuka defeating Natty?
It was a literal hard-hitting match because Asuka kicked Natty in the face. If you haven't, go and check out her Instagram. I think she posted a photo. Nice little welt under her eyeball. So there you go. I mean, it was fine. Asuka and Natty, what you would expect. Good match. Asuka goes over, and now her and Becky are gonna face off. And I don't think we're gonna talk about this, but Becky, what the hell? I love you. Giving that Becky and all that good fun stuff, but what the hell were those glasses? Those were cringy AF.
I think they were trying to be, like the little videos where somebody says something savage and they stop freeze frame and put the thug glasses over them and say thug life on the side. I think that's what they were going for.
Yes, I know exactly what it was supposed to be. It was so stupid and cringy.
Yeah, look, I heard something on Rosenberg's podcast, Cheap Heat. I want your thought on this, Brandon. What if they did an all-woman show? Because there's just a depth of talent.
Whoa, they've never done that before.
No. A weekly all-women's TV show. That's it, man.
We already have 7 hours of live television for WWE, not including AEW and whatever the hell else is going on. We don't need more wrestling, Phillip.
Hear me out, bro. Hear me out. There's a possibility it could get lost in the depths. Like 205 Live, that is a possibility. But if we do just one show, well, guess what? We can have one woman's champion that's eliminating at least another title. Okay? These women's tag titles that they hold so dearly to them would actually be utilized, And it would give people like Sonya Deville more time to show off her talent, bro. I'm thinking of Sonya. I'm thinking of all the underutilized talent on this roster. I want to see the Iconics. I want to see them do stuff again, I want to see Nikki Cross have a nice little singles run. I want to see Alexa Bliss back in the title picture, I want to see Sasha Banks finally realize her potential. She's the blueprint of WWE. I want to see her have a legit reign. She's like a 5-time champion. Yeah, she held it for like a month. That's it. I'm looking out for the women here. I'm all about the women's evolution, We got Tessa holding the men's world title on Impact. Let's give these women a weekly show and let's get this job done. But then again, that would be too much wrestling to watch, and I don't know.
Or you could just give them like the second hour of Raw.
Oh, kind of like the Cruiserweights, how they had their own little hour? You could do that. But then what about SmackDown? SmackDown's only 2 hours.
I don't know, and I really don't care.
Wow.
You just have one tag team, you have the one singles title, you can have them bounce back and forth, and you have women fight for, blood feuds and personal stuff, or try to fight to be number one contender for tag team or singles title. It ain't that hard. And let's be honest, there's not that much talent on the WWE women's roster.
This wouldn't really be a problem if WWE didn't have all these championships and all this other stuff. Like, look, we just have the WWE title, get the hell rid of the Universal, and let's say Brock is working a feud on SmackDown. Well, the US title's the number one title on Raw for that period of time during that feud, and then Brock goes back over to Raw, and then the IC title is the number one title on SmackDown for that period of time. Let's just do that. We have a one-woman's champion, and then guess what? On SmackDown, where there isn't a title feud, we have an actual feud with the women that means something, where we don't just throw them together. And we have one set of tag team champions. That's all we... Come on, guys. This isn't hard. Do you think Vince would give me the book? Do you think he would? I feel like he would.
You're the one out here saying that Vince is still a genius.
Hey man, I'm saying, like, be a genius and give me the damn book. Get rid of NXT UK. I'm sorry. It's just it's not doing it for me. Walter, Imperium, I love those guys. Coffee, love them to death. Tyler Bate, he's a big strong boy. Love those guys. Tony Storm, big zipper sound effect. Throw her on SmackDown. Give me something to look at. Like, it's just we need to change. We need to change what's going on here.
Come on, Phillip. We don't objectify female wrestlers.
Whoa, who said I was objectifying?
You just did about 20 seconds ago.
Look, man, that's not what I was going at. That's not what I was going at, That's not what I was going at.
But give me that big.
Hey, maybe I objectified during the Super Bowl halftime show. There was a lot of alcohol in me. I don't know. But the point is, let's change the way WWE's doing things. We've gone on long enough about that. We haven't even hit AEW yet. Dynamite happened. Dynamite! Big boy Mox, he defeats Ortiz, and then he stabs Santana in the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, good match. Moxley goes over as he should. Pokes Santana in the eye for an eye, as he said, and then they come back, I don't know, at the penultimate segment of AEW where the Inner Circle are there trying to comfort Santana. And I really like Jericho's promo, just talk about what kind of animal would poke someone in the eye and take stuff like that. Just great heel work by Jericho, and then Santana gets on the mic for a quick little minute-and-a-half promo, and I thought it was all well and good.
Yes, AEW, if they keep doing stuff like that, that's quick, short, simple, to the point, they're going to be very, very good. They're going to do fine. Also, we have SCU. They defeat the Best Friends, and then they are attacked by the Dark Order. Not a fan of the Dark Order. Get the cults off of my TV screen. Don't need to see it. I don't care. I really don't give a damn. I'm sorry, I don't. The big fat mask guy, and then Dick Grayson, or whatever the hell the guy's name is. I don't care, bro. I'm sorry.
That would be Evil Uno and Stu Grayson.
Yeah, whatever the hell his name is. I don't give a damn. I really don't. AEW, I love you. But I don't need to see that. This is where having a performance center and like house show matches, this is where that helps. Try to get the gimmick over on non-televised, but they don't got that. I understand they don't got that. I understand. Get a power plant like WCW had, bro. That's all I'm saying.
They have this show. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called AEW Dark.
Okay.
That's not televised.
It's on YouTube, bro.
But it's not televised. It's not on the airwaves, on the cable or satellite.
Broadcast, whatever. Look, my point is, you should have never debuted this at Double or Nothing. I'm just saying that. You should have put this on AEW Dark and for like a couple months and see how the fans were going to react. See what the dirt sheets were talking about, if you pay attention to those, whatever the hell. And yeah, man, that's honestly what I'm saying. Like, let's try things out on a lower level before we put it on your bigger stage. That's all I'm saying.
I'm a little higher on the Dark Order than you are. Not saying I'm the biggest fan. They are continuing to dangle the carrot of the, I don't even remember what the name of it is, the leader, the superior one. They're hinting at maybe it being Christopher Daniels, maybe a little throwback to when he was supposed to be the higher power. Maybe we get a fallen angel once again, but there's a bunch of rumors. Maybe it's Matt Hardy, maybe it's Brody Lee. I really hope it's not Brody Lee, because I think Luke Harper is a sensational talent, and he shouldn't be strapped to this stupid gimmick. But I think that's kind of the only thing they really have going for it, is whoever this leader is going to be. It's going to be a moment. Maybe not a big moment, but a moment.
Brody Lee, sensational, not generational talent?
He's a little old to be a generational talent.
Wow, if you want to see some generational talents, go to my Instagram, Heel Antwine, HeelAntWine. I posted a photo of me and Barack, some generational talents, he feels me. Anyway, we are going to move on to Yuka Sakazaki. She defeats Dr. Britt Baker, and then, Britt, she got upset and put her in the lockjaw and made her bleed. Good-ish from Miss Baker. I liked it. I'm starting to become a little bit more high on her. She's finally transitioning into the role where we thought she was going to be when she became the first female signee for AEW a year ago.
The match itself, nobody got hurt. That's all we can ask for. I really like the angle after the fact. I don't know, what was working, what was shoot. There was a loose tooth and someone, a tooth was flying and there was some blood involved. But I just don't understand why you don't give Britt Baker the victory here. Sakazaki is someone who we don't really see on television all that much. Just give Britt Baker the win, and then after the fact, she's a heel. She can just attack the babyface for no goddamn reason and just, almost take her teeth out and whatever. I just don't understand why you're trying to build up Britt Baker so much, and yet you give her this loss when she's already been losing so many matches beforehand. And I would think that Riho versus Britt Baker would be a match at Revolution that you could build in a women's match that the fans can actually care about.
See, shouldn't have given that little girl the title. I'm just saying, man. This women's division's not good. I'm sorry. Britt, you're starting to win me over. A little bit more of this, and I'll believe in you. I really will. We're gonna move on. The Butcher and the Blade. They were accompanied by the Bunny. Hello, and they team up with the Lucha Bros, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Zero M. Shout out to Kittle from the 49ers though. He does the Zero Mia though, and I loved everything about that during the Super Bowl. They go on to defeat. What?
He does that?
He does that, bro.
Oh my god! It's almost like he's been doing it for the entire season or something.
Yeah, man. I've finally actually seen it. I've heard about it, but I've never actually, seen it. It's great. I love it. Yeah, they go on to defeat the Elite, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, and the Young Bucks. Page takes the pinfall loss here. Thoughts? Butcher, Blade, Bunny, Bros, Elite. What's going on?
Good match. I think the Lucha Bros finally get a win. They haven't got one, it seems like, forever. Hangman, they continued the division between him and the Elite. Hangman had the knee injury, so it kind of gives him an out for why he lost. So I think all in all, it did a good job, and I liked the promo afterwards. And once again, Hangman's just getting over being an alcoholic and not completely stone cold, but the people are loving the cowboy-ish.
Hey man, it's big cowboy-ish. It's okay, man. It's recovering alcoholic. It's okay. I don't know what that's like, but I'm just saying it's okay. Just don't do it while you're wrestling. Don't be drunk while you're wrestling. That's not good for anybody. It's gonna be like Victory Road, Jeff Hardy and Sting, 2011. We don't need to see that again. Pac cuts a promo while Kenny Omega is getting interviewed. Pac says, you're running from me. What's going on? And then Rio's next to Pac, and Pac's like, I'm a bastard, but I'd never hit a woman. I'm not that much of a bastard. And then my girl, Nyla Rose, just assaults her, and she says, next week your ass is mine. Look, they should have just put the title on Nyla Rose in the first place. I don't know what they were thinking. Tony, I'm talking to you, TK. This is PA to TK. Bro. What were you thinking?
Bro.
Hey man, I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, what were you thinking, my guy? That's all I want to know.
Philip, I have a question for you.
Yes, man.
How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
I think he'd do 10, at least 3 cods, 2 snappers, maybe some 2 yellow trouts, some throw some salmon in there, and then yellowtail. I don't know, man. Just a whole bunch of stuff.
Good to know.
Good to know. Yes, absolutely. But what are your thoughts on Pac's promo and Nyla Rose attacking Rio?
I like Pac's promo. I agree with Pac. He's been doing all these things to get Kenny's attention, and yet Kenny just hasn't given him the match. And I don't understand why it's been this difficult for Pac and Kenny to have a match together. But that's going to happen. It should be a fantastic match. And Riho and Nyla Rose, that should be okay. I'm on the other side. I haven't been really impressed with Nyla Rose. I would just say keep it on Riho. And as I said, Britt Baker versus Riho, I feel as though that's the match to make, but yet they didn't give Britt Baker the win. And in a company where you're so strict on wins and losses mattering, Britt Baker is I think 3 or 4 right now, and with this loss I would think that means she gets out of the top 5, so there's no way in hell she's going to have a championship title shot in a month's time. So I don't know what they're doing with the women's division.
Don't know what they're doing with it either. Kip Sabian defeats Joey Janela, or as my boy Enzo would say, Joey Geneva. Nobody got hurt, and that's all we can ask for.
It was a good match. I mean, Kip Sabian gets the win with some help from Penelope Ford and blah, 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 blah. I think Kip Sabian does have some good upside as a heel. I do think Joey Janela could be something as a babyface, but I think I don't know exactly what his gimmick would be, if he's going to be like, kind of a funnier guy, but you already kind of have that with like Orange Cassidy and Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. So I think there's just kind of too many of those types in AEW, so it's kind of hard for Joey Janela to stand out.
It's all very true. It really is. All right, last up, this was hard to watch. A guy who I look up to. One of my favorites in the game. Cody Rhodes received 10 lashes from Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Actually, received 9 from MJF and 1 from Wardlow. The Bucks come down there. Dustin comes down there. Arn Anderson comes down there, and sweet Brandy, non-cult Brandy, comes out there as her husband is just being beaten and whipped with a belt by MJF and Wardlow, and it's terrible to watch. Cody takes him like a champ, takes him like a man, and then I guess MJF wasn't satisfied enough, so he takes him to D-Kick City after. Yeah, gruesome, terrible to watch.
And then MJF got so much heat that apparently a fan attacked him after the show, or when the show was going off the air.
Wow, look at him.
I don't know if that was a real fan or not, but you got the visual.
You did get the visual. What are your thoughts on this whole segment?
I liked it, as I said, with the Randy Orton stuff. It came on like 15 minutes before the end of the show, so like, geez, they're really going to be milking these 10 lashes, but it definitely did work. MJF, you do like kind of the first couple of them really slowly and just really milking the moment, then he hits the 2 very fast, and I thought, you continually have, Arn comes out, Dustin comes out, the Bucks come out, Brandy comes out, and it's just, it gets more and more emotional, and since they milked for so long, the welts on his back start to form, and you really get the visual. He had blood on his knuckles and whatever. I mean, it was fantastic, really putting sympathy on Cody, and really makes you want him to beat up MJF, and he's unable to really retaliate, so he's just so... he has his hands tied behind his back, almost literally, and with him and Wardlow going to be in the cage next week or the week after, that should be fun as well. We're really going to see what Wardlow can do, but this MJF Cody stuff has been fantastic, and I can't wait to see the match at Revolution.
Thoughts on Cody selling?
I mean, Cody selling was fantastic, as I kind of said. Like, it was just so emotional, and it's a belt whip. I mean, you don't have to sell that much. It's going to hurt like an MFer. And those shots were, I believe those were shoot shots. Those looked very gruesome. And Cody is maybe not the best seller in the world, but he definitely, as we talked about in the fan mail, that he can get the crowd behind him and he can really tell a great story. And with this, I mean, it's something that is old school, something I don't really see. The only one that really comes to mind is what Tommy Dreamer did back in ECW, and he tweeted out on the Twitter machine. So if you want to go see Tommy Dreamer take some Singapore cane shots to the back via Sandman, you can go and check that out on Tommy Dreamer's Twitter. So very, very enjoyed this week's AEW.
Yeah, man. I mean, Cody is an amazing seller. And about the Singapore cane match, and how all that came about. It was just going to be called a kendo stick, and then Paul Heyman read a story about a kid who was being caned for committing some kind of crime in Singapore, and I was like, oh, that's a Singapore cane. That's how that comes about, and that's interesting. Little wrestling history there for you, because I'm a historian of this business. Last minute DM slide. This is from Robert Walker. Are you ready?
Of course I'm ready.
Alright, he says, with all the returns in wrestling from injuries, Daniel Bryan, Edge, all these career-threatening injuries, what are the chances of Corey Graves, the savior of misbehavior, making a return to the ring? Wow, that's interesting. I mean, Corey was really in the same boat as like D-Bry with the whole concussions and stuff. So if he gets cleared, and if he actually wants to do it, that's fine. Fine by me. Didn't really get to see a whole lot of him, so let's see what he can do.
I mean, it's Corey Graves. He's, he has a name. I think if he were to do something, I don't think it's going to be like a full-fledged match. I think maybe he just comes in at like an Aurora Rumble or something, or maybe like a one-off. Maybe he gets a little bit physical, but he has a good thing going. I don't think he's going to really want to jeopardize that. And if he, has a severe concussion or a neck injury or something, then he can't even go back to the commentating table. So I think Corey understands that. He might have some sort of relationship with the fan base, but he wasn't like a Daniel Bryan, an Edge, a Page, something like that, to where if he were to come back, and I think a lot of people don't even like really know that he's even a wrestler. So I don't know if it would be that big of a deal if he were to quote unquote come back.
Yeah, that's true. Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got, baby?
Well, you kind of talked a little bit about it on the podcast, but, I'm going to go outside of the ring, and the halftime show for the Super Bowl was absolutely fantastic. So, dual Superstar Spotlight. I'm going to give it to J-Lo and Shakira, but we all know Shakira won. Shakira was the best one.
Hold on. I was going to do this. I was going to just give it to J-Lo, But I forgot how brilliant Shakira was, man. I really did. Those hips, they really still don't lie, 9-year-old me was very excited, being a big J-Lo Shakira fan back in my day, man. Congratulations to both women. Shakira's 43, J-Lo's 50. They both looked fantastic. They performed their asses off. It was great. It was
literally.
It was very, very well done. I tweeted this. That may be one of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. I don't watch sports, but I've gone and watched halftime shows. I think Bruno Mars's was okay. Prince's back in the 2007 Super Bowl was awesome. Michael Jackson's back in the 90s, that was really good. And I mean, come on, Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, first Super Bowl I ever remember seeing. I saw that. Yeah.
And what a Super Bowl halftime show it was.
Iconic. Very iconic.
A lot of people are praying for the same result on this halftime show, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
Really didn't. Oh, that tape holds up. All right, promo pick of the week. Chris Jericho owns everyone. Smackdown. This is Valentine's Day 2013. Oh, wow, we're coming up on the anniversary of this. That's nice. It's just Chris Jericho. Actually, no, this isn't even Smackdown. I'm sorry. This is main event. Let me change that. This is main event. He has a highlight reel going. Alberto Del Rio is the World Heavyweight Champion at the time. Ziggler is Mr. Money in the Bank with AJ Lee and Big E, and he's just roasting Dolph, roasting AJ and Big E. What does the E stand for? He's got an E for a name. Big ending, big excrement, big elephant. That I was just saying. Oh, this is good Jericho. This is party host Jericho, and I loved everything about it. Thoughts on the promo?
I mean, a great promo by Jericho, as you would expect. Jericho kind of leading a little bit more into the comedy aspect after his 2012 return when he came back and he was supposed to be the savior, save us Y2J. I was really intrigued at what that 2012 Jericho was going to be. Unfortunately, it really didn't come to fruition all that much, but it kind of turned into this Jericho, the list Jericho and the scarves and everything like that, and it all worked out for the better, I guess.
It did, man. 2012, we got Punk and Jericho having a great story. WrestleMania 28 for the WWE title, then again at Payback and that street fight a month later. So there's some good stuff that came out of that 2012 Jericho. And 2013 Jericho, he was cool, and he did the job for Fandango at WrestleMania. Brandon, what's our match pick of the week, buddy?
Well, this week's match pick of the week is a little something out of the ordinary. We're going to go to Beyond Wrestling, a company that's been doing very good on the independent scene. They have a YouTube channel, Beyond Wrestling, if you want to go check it out. They have a lot of full free matches up there, and they have a lot of Orange Cassidy matches up there, and one that we picked out today would be Orange Cassidy versus Marco Stunt, two wrestlers who you wouldn't think would have a really good match because you might just know them from AEW and they just have kind of comedy stuff, but when it comes down to it, they can have a good match, and I think there's a lot of people out there who have seen Marco Stunt's work on the indie scene, and they are a lot higher than I think I am and a lot of other people are, but these two guys, if you've only seen them in AEW, definitely check this match out, Beyond Wrestling. It was uploaded, I believe, January 12th, 2020, so fairly new. Check it out.
It was fine. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. We need to get him on the show. I know we won't say much, but we need to get him on the show because that guy is just fantastic. And Marco Stunt, he's just a little small boy. Just a little small boy. Yeah.
He's not a big, strong boy.
No, he's no Tyler Bate, bro. He's not a little big, strong boy. No. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up. Tomorrow, 3-year anniversary. Go into the Bulletcast archive. Enjoy all the work that Brandon and I have done over this course of 3 years. Thank you for all the continued love and support. Sincerely, really do appreciate it. If you've given back to the show in any way, voiceover work, being a guest on the show, whether it be interview or just coming on and covering wrestling with Brandon and I, young boy number 2, that means you. Graphic design, music, Painless, the band Painless, are giving us our theme song. That's awesome. As the fire truck passes by, I hope you can hear that, Follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram The Bulletcast, YouTube channel The Bulletcast, emails Bulletcast2 is in the number 2, sweetswet@gmail.com, every Friday night from 9 p.m. To 10 p.m. 99.9 FM KW in Watsonville. This is officially going on there. We didn't cuss. We didn't do it. I'm excited. We got one. We finally got one. iTunes, SoundCloud, not SoundCloud. Jesus, we're gone. We're gone from there. We're no longer there. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We are all over the damn place. Thank you so much for the continued love and support. We're making our way. We're making our way downtown, walking fast, faces passing. I'm homebound. Tomorrow, SAP Center. Check out Brandon and I. If you see us live in person, come up, say hi. I don't bite. Brandon may bite. He's kind of like a rabid pit bull, He's from the Bay. He's from the Stack. That's how we do it, baby. All right, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, thank you for the continued love and support. I appreciate all of you, and goodbye.
Back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt when your face is in the
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.